Order the city council meeting for September 12th, the regular meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Perkins,
Here.
Councilmember Rubio,
Here.
Councilmember Veros,
Here.
Vice Mayor Armstrong.
Here.
Mayor Hudson.
Here. Okay, leading us tonight in the Pledge of Allegiance will be Boy Scout Troop 2001. Jake.
Will the audience please rise? Please place hats and jackets to the side. Color guard, advance. Prepare to post the colors. Scout salute. Those on uniform, please put your right hand over your heart. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Please post the colors. Color guard, return to ranks.
Thank you, Jake.
Audience, you may be seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. And thank you, Troop 2001. Okay, are there any announcements or additions to the agenda?
There are none this evening.
Thank you. The next page. If you wish to speak under public comment or regarding any item on the agenda, please fill out a card there located at the back of the room. I just want to point out that while the city of San Ramon ensures the First Amendment rights of all citizens, we do not accept nor endorse any offensive, hateful comments made during our meeting. The city of San Ramon celebrates the diversity of our community, and we strive to be a welcoming, open community for all. Okay, public comment is now open. Do we have any cards?
We do have two cards received this evening, and the first is from Stephen Liao.
Okay, Stephen.
Mayor Hudson and members of the City Council, thanks for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Steve Liao, and I chair the Building Bridges Project of the San Ramon Presbyterian Church. I'm here to announce that on the third Saturday in October, volunteers will again serve the overwhelmed households of the elderly, widowed, disabled, and military families around the greater San Ramon region with neighborly care. In this, our 21st year, we expect to send up to 200 volunteers into homes of 40 to 50 project hosts to clean gutters, clear overgrowth, perform minor home repairs in and around their home. And at the Camp Parks Army Reserve Post, Building Bridges volunteers will be improving grounds for the families of soldiers to enjoy, and then come back during the holidays to serve over 400 soldiers and their families a home-cooked Christmas dinner. Because we didn't get to honor our partners with the City Council presentations during and after the pandemic, we just want to do a quick shout out while we're here. And thanks to our Building Bridges partners, Home Depot, Albertsons, ACI, for their generous donations to support these community efforts. We invite anyone watching here, anybody here in the audience who wants to volunteer on October 21st, come to our website, srpc.org, and volunteer. We also invite officers of the city of San Ramon to nominate projects to us so that we can be a helpful hand to our neighbors as an alternative to code enforcement. Thank you again for your time today. And thank you, all of you, for your service in leading our great city forward.
Can you just remind us again of the date of?
Yes, thank you for that. Mr. Perkins. I know it's important to you. You've come many times. It is the third Saturday, of October, this year, October 21st.
Could you repeat the website one last time?
Yes, San Ramon Presbyterian Church, srpc.org.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Stephen.
You bet.
Next speaker, please.
Taiwan's the country.
Mayor Hudson, council members, I'm forced to have to lump several items together per your policy, which is really illegal per the Brown Act. But nevertheless, I am just a citizen. I have to comply with your illegal rules. So just for the disclosure, I'm lumping item 4, item 6, and item 5 together because I'm forced to do so in 3 minutes. Typically, that will give me 3 minutes per item. The first thing I want to address is consent agenda 5.5. First of all, this is really not the county's jurisdiction to decipher, interpret, or impose a California ordinance, which is called RENA, on the city. I am appalled. Our attorney did not throw their letter back at the county and say that you're out of your jurisdiction. Instead, our manager is wasting tax dollars of the citizens to respond. Why are you responding to something that is not their jurisdiction? It is ridiculous. 5.5 should have been vetted by Open Space, Housing Advisory, as well as planning. There was nothing routine about this. And the fact that you did not allow the citizens to vet it is solely your error. Number 6, special presentation. I am very glad to see 6.1. However, it's lacking in activities. So it's making it seem like you're condescending to whoever or Miss DeLu, I hope I'm pronouncing that word correctly. DeLu, can somebody please correct me? Thank you. Thank you. I would really like to see more. And thank you, Ms. DeLu, for initiating this. I would love to have my children participate more in this, but there isn't enough that is listed in the declaration. Also, why is it that there is no presentation about 9/11 since today is 12th? You are completely ignoring the heroes who risked their lives to save multinationals, should I remind you, in New York City. Shame on you. Furthermore, shame on you, number 2. Why didn't you mention in adjournment in honor and in remembrance of former Mayor Abram Wilson's wife, whom I heard just passed recently? Why is it that you are not honoring her? I am so appalled. What are you guys doing? Furthermore, lastly, per Brown Act, the government cannot tell the speaker what to say. That is not my First Amendment. By law, you cannot tell me what to say. Please, law and order. Follow the rules, follow the law. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
That was the last public comment card, and we do not have any hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, then we'll close the public comment and move on to the consent calendar. Either generally routine in nature, acted upon with a single action. Does anybody wish to pull an item? Yes.
I move agenda items 5.1 through 5.9.
Quick. We have a second, or did I just?
Nope.
Marisol, I'm sorry.
Nope.
Too quick from.
Mhm.
Any further discussion?
Just hit the button. Yeah, there we go. 5-0.
5-0. Consent calendar is passed. Let me see if we have one.
6.1.
Okay, we're on to 6.1.
Top of page 5.
And that is a proclamation. I'm going to ask the Vice Mayor Armstrong to read for me. We have this proclamation here.
Okay, got it on? There we go. Okay, this is a proclamation of the City Council of the City of San Ramon designating September 17th through the 23rd, 2023 as Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law. And whereas September 17th, 2023 marks the 236th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document and the anniversary of its creation and the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. And whereas the California State Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, enriches communities by protecting and preserving historic locations, fostering patriotism and love of country, supporting education, sustaining charitable endeavors, assisting veterans and the infirm, and encouraging all to do historical research. And whereas the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution is a non-political organization that supports San Ramon libraries, schools, and civic organizations in teaching all citizens, especially youth and newly naturalized citizens, about our founding documents. The National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution sets up library displays, provides copies of the Constitution to high school civics classes, and runs a poster contest to raise awareness of the Constitution. Now therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of San Ramon does hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through September 23rd, 2023 in the City of San Ramon as Constitution Week. We urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. Signed, David E. Hudson, Mayor, City of San Ramon.
Would you like to make a few comments? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
One of my favorite places to visit Washington DC is your headquarters.
Yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? It's a beautiful building, and we invite everybody to come and visit when you're in Washington, DC. It is in honor of Constitution Week. The San Ramon Library deserves a shout out. We were able to put a display out on their main floor, and our Constitution Week poster contest, the kits are right there. You can go on in, pick one up. We've got pencils for you. We've got a lot of information, and Darlene, the librarian, put together a wonderful selection of books all about the Constitution. And the poster contest is for students and adults. So please turn in your posters, and we'd love to see your creative artistry. Thank you so much. And thank you to the city and the council. We really appreciate it.
Can you speak into the microphone? Come on up. We'll take all of you. All right, welcome to our city council meeting. We have a proclamation here of the city council of the city of San Ramon, recognizing the San Ramon Valley Islamic Center and the San Ramon American Muslim community for their contributions to the San Ramon community. Whereas San Ramon is the home to the San Ramon Valley Islamic Center, which is dedicated to serving the spiritual needs of San Ramon's Muslim community and promoting interfaith cooperation by providing an environment for dialogue, education, and fellowship. And whereas the San Ramon Valley Islamic Center has provided many volunteer services to the San Ramon community, including but not limited to the following: packing and distributing 100,000 pounds of food staples and masks to at-risk communities in the Bay Area through their You Are Not Alone program, in partnership with Support Life Foundation and other Bay Area mosques and organizations. Sponsoring the San Ramon Valley Islamic Center blood drives with the American Red Cross, being one of the largest donors to the Contra Costa Food Bank, donating $25,000 to $30,000 every year, in addition to the estimated $250,000 in donation to community members in need. And whereas Muslims have been a part of U.S. history from the beginning and have contributed to the production of wealth and construction of the nation, they are also a part of the rich history of the civil rights movement. And whereas almost 10,000 Muslims reside in Contra Costa County and make innumerable contributions to the cultural, political, and economic fabric and well-being of California and the United States. And whereas American Muslims are teachers, lawyers, doctors, social workers, tech workers, nurses, and business owners, among numerous other valued professions, as well as peace builders, activists, entrepreneurs, and politicians. And whereas it is appropriate to acknowledge and promote awareness of the myriad of invaluable contributions of the American Muslims in California and across the country, and to extend them the respect and camaraderie every American deserves. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of San Ramon does hereby recognize the California State designation of August 2023 as American Muslim Appreciation and Awareness Month, to acknowledge the rich history, contributions, and guiding virtues of Muslims, and to commend all Muslim communities in California for their lasting positive impact they made toward the advancement of our city and country. Signed, David E. Hudson, Mayor, City of San Ramon. We'll let you guys hold it there. All right, who would like to say some remarks?
Either way,
Okay, I'll face the council then.
yeah, because they may want to see this on your video at home, so.
All right, perfect. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most beneficent and most merciful. Assalamu alaikum. May the peace be upon you. Dear Mayor Hudson, council members, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I stand before you with immense pride and gratitude on behalf of the San Ramon Islamic Center, representing and celebrating the San Ramon Muslim community's recognition during this proclamation month in our beloved city of San Ramon, California. This honor not only shines a light on the outstanding contributions of our community, but also reflects the rich diversity and unity that define our community. As we gather here today, it's essential to acknowledge the remarkable growth of the Muslim population in the larger San Francisco Bay Area. With an estimated population of about over 250,000, about 10,000 to 20,000 people live in the Tri-Valley, and we actively are embedded in working towards the community development. We play a vital role in the tapestry of our region's culture and progress. Much of that was also highlighted in the proclamation that it was just done, so really appreciate that. In addition, just a little bit of a history. Time is of the essence, so keeping it short. The San Ramon Valley Islamic Center was established 30 years ago as a small room. Now it serves and continues to serve as a beacon, a place of worship, and a hub for outreach programs that benefit not only Muslims, but for our entire community. The volunteer members tirelessly put their efforts in fostering interfaith dialogue, promoting education, and providing vital social services for young and adults to be alike, to be good citizens and contribute to the community. In this month of proclamation, we want to affirm our commitment to inclusivity, understanding and respect for all faiths and culture. We recognize that our strength lies in our unity, and this honor reminds us of the importance of coming together as a diverse community. As we celebrate the San Ramon Muslim community's achievements today, let us also pledge to continue this bridge that we have formed, continue to build more new bridges, fostering the understanding and ensuring that our city remains a place where every culture and faith is embraced and cherished. Thank you, San Ramon, for this wonderful celebration of diversity and for the bright future we envision together as a united community. Thank you all.
Thank you. Any comments from the council? Because I did want to say one thing. It's been a long time, but I have not forgotten. I was the mayor in 9/11 when it happened, and I'll never forget how quickly the Islamic Center lined up outside our previous city hall at 222 Camino Ramon to sign the book of condolence for that night when many of us were trying to decide whether or not we were even going to have a meeting. But that's a different story. I mean, the response from the Islamic Center was immediate and very powerful. Thank you so much. We will not forget that. Anyone else? Yep. Oh, 6.3 is run for education. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Thanks for education. Yeah. How did I do? No, during the run.
Well, good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm here this evening to introduce Dinesh Govindaro, why don't you come on up? Who is a board member with the San Ramon Valley Education Foundation. The Run for Education, as you may know, is celebrating its 40th year along with the city's 40th year. And since we're both turning 40, the Run for Education and the city, we've collaborated to cross promote the city's 4th of July run, the Bah Humbug run, and the Run for Education. If you participate in both runs, you'll get a $5 discount and this nifty collectible magnet with both of our 40th anniversary logos. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce Dinesh, who can tell you a little bit more about the Run for Education and why everybody should participate this year. Dinesh?
I didn't. I would just say that I think I participated in the first one when it used to be called the Primos to Primos run. And I can tell you back then, when we had to close Crow Canyon to get across on the Iron Horse Trail, coming from Primos and Danville to the one that was at the old Al Costa Mall, we were not very popular. Of course, right now, Crow Canyon might as well be closed to a lot of, anyway. Dinesh, you have the floor. I'm sorry. Get me out of this.
Well, thank you. And I wish I could say I was turning 40, but that wouldn't be correct. But thank you, Kathy, for introducing me. And hello, Mayor Hudson, Vice Mayor Armstrong, Council Members Perkins, Burrows, and Rubio, and members of the public, as well as staff today. As Kathy mentioned, I'm Dinesh Govindaro. I'm the board member for the San Ramon Valley Education Foundation. And, you know, I was going to ask a question, but Mayor Hudson already stole the answer to it. So I was going to ask, you know, what was the first run called, or what was it called initially? And it was called the Run for Education. It was a Primos to Primos run, and it went from, as Mayor Hudson said, from Danville all the way to South San Ramon. And I actually remember performing in the Cal High band when they had the carbo load at the Toyota facilities, if some of you recall,
Yes.
At Bishop Ranch. So that was a lot of fun to do. But the run has been a tradition in the San Ramon Valley spanning 40 years, and it's evolved to become the largest run that supports education in Northern California. It's now called the Run for Education, and I'm excited to share. It's going to be happening coming up on Sunday, October 8th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 2700 Camino Ramon. adjacent to the city center here in San Ramon. We're planning a full day of activities for serious runners, casual walkers, adults, children, parents, and caregivers pushing strollers. Events are going to include a 10K, 5K, mini run for 2 to 6-year-olds, and these participants will receive our signature mini run cape and post-race treats. We also have a friendship run for participants with special needs and their supporters, and an expo for education featuring a kids zone, live entertainment, food and drink. Many thanks to the San Ramon Police Department. I know Chief Denton's here, who signed up for a team. We welcome you to join them. Teams with 10 or more participants will be entered into a drawing for a wine tasting experience valued at $600, courtesy of Total Wine. Prices are going to go up after this Friday, September 15th for the run. So catch the best pricing and register before Friday. The Run for Education is the primary fundraising activity for the San Ramon Valley Education Foundation, a nonprofit organization that supports and promotes education in our community in partnership with the San Ramon Valley Unified School District. It is the only event in the San Ramon Valley that includes participants, volunteers, and spectators from all 35 San Ramon Valley Unified School District schools, representing the communities of Alamo, Danville, and San Ramon. And as Kathy mentioned, because the city of San Ramon is also celebrating 40 years, we're partnering with the city of San Ramon to present a special 40th anniversary magnet to include those who register for both the Run for Education and Run San Ramon or Bah Humbug races. If you want more information, including the registration, it can be found at srvef.org/the-run. It's going to again be on Sunday, October 8th. 2023 at 2700 Camino Ramon, San Ramon, again from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you have any questions, you can also email Lori, Lori at srvef.org. And again, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dinesh. Okay. 6.4. Mark, we should have left you over there. Vote from there.
All right, good evening again. It is my extreme pleasure, Heidi, come closer, to introduce and honor Heidi Kenniston Lee for her 10 years of service as a Parks Commissioner for the city of San Ramon. The proclamation that you're going to receive and you're all going to hear will hit all of the highlights of her 10 years of service, but I wanted to say what I think makes Heidi stand out as a Parks Commissioner. So Heidi has a high ability to collaborate and be a team with staff to find creative solutions to community issues. And that's big when it comes to trying to collaborate and find an answer to a problem. Her passion for building and creating community through parks and recreation, and her integrity and honesty, specifically when dealing with the public, other commissioners and staff on difficult or contentious issues. Heidi's been an exceptional Parks Commissioner, spent countless hours visiting parks, talking to the community and researching new ideas. She's made a real difference through her thoughtful decisions while on the commission. And although she has moved on to her new position as the president and CEO of the San Ramon Chamber of Commerce, her impact on the San Ramon parks, programs, and facilities will be felt for years to come. So thank you, Heidi, for all you've done during your term as a Parks Commissioner. Vice Mayor Armstrong, I think it's your turn now.
You got to give a 10-minute speech.
Yeah.
I'm going to give 10 minutes each.
And you heard it's the 40th anniversary, not only of the city, but the 40th anniversary for the Run for Education. Maybe we can hear about the 40th anniversary of the
Another city
Chamber of
council
Commerce.
Yes.
Yep. And also my 40th wedding anniversary, but this is about Heidi. So I'm going to read a proclamation of the City of San Ramon City Council recognizing Heidi Kenniston Lee for her service to the citizens of San Ramon as a member of the City of San Ramon Parks and Community Services Commission. Whereas Heidi Kenniston Lee served on the Parks and Community Services Commission from January 2012 to July 2018 and August 2020 to June 2023. And during these 10 years served as the chairperson of the commission and on the program, policy, and finance committees, and as a liaison to the Teen Council, Senior Citizens Advisory Committee, Library Advisory Committee, San Ramon Library Working Group, and City Council. And whereas Heidi Keniston Lee has been instrumental in the development and planning of an expansive array of programs, services, classes, and activities as outlined in the city's quarterly Parks and Community Services Activities Guide. And whereas Heidi Keniston Lee has been involved with the development of several citywide plans, including the Parks, Trails, Open Space, and Recreation Master Plan, Bicycle Master Plan, and the Walking District Master Plan. And whereas during her tenure, Heidi Keniston Lee was an integral part of approving the plans to develop and renovate many of the city facilities, including the San Ramon Main Library, Amador Rancho Center, San Ramon Olympic Pool, San Ramon Community Center, and the renovation of the Doherty Station Community Center into an art center. And whereas during her tenure, Heidi Keniston Lee reviewed and approved plans for new and renovated parks at Rancho San Ramon Community Park, Mill Creek Hollow Park, Richard Fahey Village Green, Bella Vista School Park, Sunrise Ridge, Boone Acres, Bartlett Pear Park, and the Bark and Ride. And whereas during her tenure, Heidi Keniston Lee was instrumental in approving the plan to add cricket pitches to both Gale Ranch and Windermere Ranch Middle Schools, and approving a third pitch to be located at Quail Run Elementary School. And whereas during her tenure, Heidi Keniston Lee was an advocate for the arts and approved permanent public art projects at Memorial Park and the San Ramon Library, and temporary art projects, including the Utility Box Public Art Program, Picture This program, and the Upcycle Your Heart Out program. And whereas in addition to the Parks and Community Services Commission, Heidi Keniston Lee served as one of the chair people for the San Ramon 150 celebration, attended Government 101 and the city's planning academy, and is a volunteer for the San Ramon Historic Foundation, and was named Citizen of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of San Ramon does hereby recognize and thank Heidi Keniston Lee for her many contributions to the San Ramon's Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Program, Parks and Recreation Facilities, and for her contributions to making San Ramon a great place to live, work, and play. Signed, David E. Hudson, Mayor, City of San Ramon.
Oh, luck with Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, floor is yours.
No wonder I'm so tired. Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Hudson. Thank you, Vice Mayor Armstrong. Thank you, council members. What a lovely thing. Thank you. And thank you, Kathy. So I'm going to make it really quick, but I did want to let you know that one of the reasons I'm so passionate about Parks and Community Services is that that function is the builder of community. It's the keeper of community in our city. So important. And part of the reason that we do such a good job is we have an amazing staff in our Parks and Community Services Department, and they are supported by other amazing staff members. I want to especially call out Public Works and Maria's team, because they really work together. You know, a lot of what we do, we can't do without them, and vice versa. So we are fortunate. We have staff members that are active in their industry that really put their heart and soul into it. So they're great. I want to thank my family who are here because unless they supported me, I could not do all this work in the community. So thank you. I'm very excited about the role that I now have with the Chamber of Commerce. We will be visiting you in the near future to talk about things. But I love that we can have that partnership with the city as we work on economic development and building community and all the good things that we can do together. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you very much. I've loved every minute of it, and you're not rid of me yet. I will be doing many things. So I'm excited to continue to support the city. Thank you.
No, you don't throw it away that quick.
Dave and I were there when we selected you to be on the Parks Commission. And honestly, you were an unknown quantity at that time, but you just blew away the council at that interview. And boy, did we make the right decision there. Not always obvious that we make the right decision, but we did that time. And we are so grateful that you have been so instrumental in all those things that Vice Mayor Armstrong read in the proclamation. The city is far, far better because you live here.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let me
Thank
take
you.
it back. And
I
thank you
would like
so
to say
much for
thank-
adding about the public works, because people don't realize we didn't always have, the highest amount of maintenance on these parks because of budget constraints and everything, but takes a lot of people doing this and isn't just a vote of yes or no. Somebody has to go out and take that direction. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah.
Yes, Sridhar.
Oh, thanks, Heidi, for all your services. I still remember it's fresh in my mind when I came first to Parks and Community Services Commission meeting for an appeal for cricket ground. From there, I could get onto the commission and work with you. I learned a lot from you. The proclamation clearly says all the fingerprint that you have on our parks and our community services. It's phenomenal. So that we are very blessed to have a community member like you.
Thank you. And
Improves the quality of our life.
yeah,
We really
and
appreciate it.
we have such great folks who volunteer their time on so many committees and commissions. And Sridhar and I served on the Parks Commission together, and I have the utmost respect. We may not always agree on specific things, but our heart is in the place of wanting to do what's best for our city, and that results in a good product. So thank you for saying that.
Thank you, and congratulations for
Thank you.
well-deserved recognition.
Thank you. Don't go away. Marisol's got something to say.
We both
Come
want
on.
to finish.
And Mark,
Oh, they're leaving now.
they can come up, take pictures.
It's just a temporary break.
Oh,
No, we just want to, so I'm probably the least unfortunately to have had time to get to know you, but just want to say thank you for everything that you have done. I know that you put a lot of heart and passion in that, and it's evident in the work that you have produced and that we've had the pleasure of enjoying. So thank you so much for everything.
thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'll just say thank you again for your service on the Parks Commission. I remember I've known you now just ever since I've been on city council, and we've shared a lot of phone calls and meetings and things like that. So, but you've done a tremendous job. I always appreciated our conversations on topics of the day, and just wish you the best in your new role as
Thank you.
president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thank
role
you.
and service to our city.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you,
Can I
Heidi.
go now? Good.
Yeah. And I go and see. Okay. Next item is
Deferred consent?
deferred consent. There's nothing there, so we'll move on that to city manager comments and then
No.
new business.
You're.
I was ready to jump ahead of them. Okay, there's no unfinished, so let's do the new business. Everybody wants to know from Robin Bartlett how the construction's going on the Bollinger Canyon overpass.
Yeah, that's.
So tell me it's finished, Robin.
No.
Well, good evening, Mayor
Good
and City
afternoon.
Council, and thank you for this opportunity to go over our construction activities. As I think you all know, there is a lot going on. So I can give you a brief summary, the grand overview here. I've attached a map here that comes off our GIS system that just shows a lot of the activities that are going on right now, as well as into the near future. So if you look at this map, you can see all of those lines. That's our PMP projects for this year and next year, and actually there's a few from the year after, which I'll talk about in a minute. These blue triangles represent development projects. Some of those have been going on for quite a while. Faria and Doherty Valley are represented there, but a lot of them are projects that are going on now or are anticipated to go on in the near future. And then these red dots represent some of our CIPs that are in construction or are going into construction in the near future. So highlighting a few of those, we have the Bollinger Canyon Road Iron Horse pedestrian and bicycle overcrossing, which we've been looking forward to for so long. And you can all see, construction activity had started out there on Bollinger Canyon Road. Then there's the Crow Canyon widening project from Alcosta to St. George. That is up in the north side of this map. And that's been going on for some time and still has a ways to go. The green lines represent PMP 2023 for the most part. A little bit of that represents the Crow Canyon Road project that we are undertaking in conjunction with Alameda County. And that'll be starting up. It's really started up this week with some preliminary activities, and people see more impacts from that next week. Some of the development projects include BR6, BR1. We got Fire Station 34 going on Costa Boulevard. And then, as I mentioned, some of these red lines are PMP 2024. And I highlighted the Iron Horse Village, which is a potential upcoming project just because it's located right at that critical corner right there with our PMP 2024 and Costa Boulevard projects. So going into a little bit of detail on the pedestrian overcrossing, this is about a $30 million project, and there's a lot of different funding sources for that project. As again, I think you guys recall, this is being constructed in conjunction with an agreement with Contra Costa Transportation Authority for the design and construction, and they selected the design consultant. The cost estimator and design was completed all in spring 2022. We issued that notice to proceed all the way back in April and did our groundbreaking in May. And now you're actually seeing that activity beginning to start, and construction will last 1.5 to 2 years. Just a excerpt of some of those key milestones. Again, we issued the NTP, notice to proceed, and it's taken this long to actually see some of that field work starting to happen because they have a lot of fabrication work that's been going on off-site. Again, I mentioned that it'll take about 1.5 to 2 years to do this. Here's some of the lowlights for the public because they won't like this, but the agreement with CCTA allows daily lane closures as needed. The contractor may completely close all lanes in one direction as needed at night or during the weekends. And the contractor may completely close the road 4 times for up to 9 days duration. So basically looking at a week go with the weekends patched on either end. Why do we do all of this? It's because if you want to get a project done for the price tag, you have to allow the contractor reasonable access to the site to do the work. And on top of that, when you're dealing with a project that has a lot of overhead elements, a lot of heavy equipment, you got major safety concerns, so you have to have adequate closures to handle all of that work. So this is the current traffic control setup. What you're seeing at the moment is kind of our baseline traffic control that I expect to be present through most of the project. That includes closure of the turn pocket and 1 lane on each side. Again, that's likely to be our kind of a baseline, but it will expand and contract around that as necessary. Similarly, we've got detours on the Iron Horse Trail. You may have noticed the trail has now been torn up on the north side. It will be getting ripped up on the south side shortly, and that'll force everyone to take one of these 2 detours. This is the next big operation to expect fairly soon. This is going to be drilling the center foundation. So you're going to see a large drill rig out there, a large crane. We're going to be drilling a 6-foot diameter hole, 63 feet deep.
63 feet deep. That's impressive.
Yeah, and that's a good 50 feet below the groundwater table. So it is going to be messy. And the activity I'm highlighting here is going to take about 3 weeks to do. So that's drilling that hole, disposing of those soils that come out of there, disposing of the drilling fluid, installing casing, installing the reinforcing cage, filling that all up with concrete. That's about a 3-week activity. that'll probably start up in November and extend into December, but keep in mind, there's a lot of other activities leading up to that. We got a dig excavation for that foundation. And then when it's all said and done, you start building the podium and the tower elements. So again, expanding and contracting that traffic control around those operations. And this is what that traffic control will look like, basically adding another lane of closure, but more or less similar to what you see. Again, so we're losing 2 lanes at that point. And again, about 3 weeks of impact around that, but some other impacts that'll come and go. And then we look forward to the real doozies, that full road closures. That's probably about a year from now. So we do have some time to plan for all of that. Again, closure of all the lanes in one direction as needed at night and during weekends, and complete closure for 4 times for 4 days, or 4 times for 9 days to complete that overhead work. Hopefully it'll be less, but we'll get more information as the time approaches. And of course, there's going to be a lot of public outreach and coordination with other projects and things to make sure all of this happens as smoothly as it can. But there will be obviously major impacts with an operation like that.
I noticed online that Dublin is installing their big span, and they actually invited the public to watch. And while they had to delay it a week, I would hope that there would be an opportunity for some of the major elements that, even though we keep people back a ways, that there would be an opportunity for some people to watch some of those operations of putting in place some of the major components. I know you'll have to work that out with the contractor. It's not their responsibility. It would fall on us and traffic control, and maybe Parks gets involved. I don't know, but I think it would be interesting to offer that opportunity for the public to watch some of that.
Yeah,
some of those
and
interesting operations.
There's also some other opportunities we can have to video this and photo
Right.
document the progress and put that online and put that on our nice new monitor out
Oh, yeah.
there. And yeah, I certainly think these things are very interesting, and I think a lot of the public will find that to be the case as well.
Invite all the engineers to come.
So again, as I mentioned, going back to this map a little bit, obviously those closures will have a lot of impacts to traffic. So I anticipate that we'll be seeing a lot of detours up towards Crow Canyon Road, either people detouring in the beginning and going along Crow Canyon Road, or going up Al Costa and then turning onto Crow Canyon Road. So you see that we have that red line out there for 2024. That is PMP 2024. We are currently in design for that project, doing some initial evaluations, but I just want to give you a heads up that part of minimizing the impacts will be evaluating whether we do that work or not. We're looking for the possibilities of syncing those projects, but we won't really know until we get a lot closer whether we can pull that off, depending on the actual timing of both projects.
Don't want to do a 9-day closure while you're paving
Exactly.
over on-
So we are also going to be doing some evaluation and design for projects that we had scheduled for 2026 as asphalt repair work as an alternative. So we may eliminate that and instead do work somewhere like on Pine Valley Road that needs it.
And just to make sure, Robin, so this is not the current Crow Canyon Road work, but this is going to be.
That
total
is
different.
correct. So the current work you see is the green line that is in between those 2 red dots.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
So speaking of the Crow Canyon Road widening project, That is ongoing, and I just wanted to show these three pictures because we've seen and heard things being disseminated out in the public where people seem to misunderstand what this entire project is about. Some people saying it's why are you doing all of this just for a bike lane? Well, what we're really doing, you see the beginning, the two lanes out there. You now see its current condition where we have completely demolished the right lane and have demolished a lot of the landscaping, and there's a wall that has been constructed. And the end product that we're aiming for is what you see in the end, which will be 3 lanes for the traffic instead of the original 2, plus a buffered bike lane and new landscaping and other improvements. So as I think you're all aware, this project was intended to be further ahead than it is now. We've experienced quite a bit of delays. Of course, the biggest reason for that delay was our winter of last year. So that not only added $1 million of damage to our flood control system, but it also resulted in substantial delays for this project due directly to the weather, as well as additional delays due to PG&E being delayed doing emergency repairs. So they put off having to come out to our project to switch over the lighting. You may have noticed in that previous picture, I'll go back to it. You can see that we've got a new lighting in the center median that's been installed. We cannot demolish the lighting that was on the eastbound direction until that had been installed and energized, and PG&E had to do that energy switch. So there's one of the delays. There's been some additional delays due to other changes in the project, including things like bracing the sound wall that's adjacent to the site, where we've taken that opportunity to do some enhanced bracing. So as a recap, the way these projects are bid out is you give the contractor a certain number of working days. A working day is typically Monday through Friday with good weather and without any of the other delays. They've got 161 remaining out of a total of 320 that they were originally provided. But to put the delays in context, there's been 135 added days. So that means work would extend out into April 2024. Of course, there's another winter coming, so that can push things out a little bit further. So we're looking at something like early spring, early summer to see some lanes open, and then late spring, early summer for full completion. So here's some of the things that we're doing to accelerate that project and to reduce some of the impacts. One thing that we've already done is authorized 12-hour days for wall construction and related work, including the sound wall bracing. That sound wall bracing is now complete. The wall construction has been underway for about a week with those 12-hour days. So that should wrap up in about a week and a half. And then we're looking to open lanes wherever possible. For example, there is not work going on in the westbound direction. Our contract requires that if there's not working going on, then the contractor can be required to reopen lanes. So we're going to have the contractor do some changing in the striping that's been put in place, temporary construction striping that will occur tomorrow. And we will likely see the lanes reopened either tomorrow or Thursday. So you will have back to 2 lanes of traffic in the westbound direction by the end of the week. Other things we're looking to have the contractor pay more attention to is sequencing their work, and they will be out there following up the wall construction with earthwork, so that as the wall starts to become complete, the earthwork will be in progress, and that earthwork will result in removing material that's needed for the widening of the road and also placing of material for the landscaping in the center median. Then we will continue conversations with them about other ways to accelerate the work. Contractor is talking about doing work on the eastbound direction, which will result in the construction of the third paved lane in the eastbound direction by the end of the year, if we can get everything to line up. So then we would have 3 lanes open eastbound. Of course, we have to come back later and do some other work in the middle lane. There's pavement improvement work to be done there as part of the project. But we would at least have 3 lanes open eastbound as the work switches to the north side of the road westbound, and then we would see what can be done during the winter on that side.
So Robin, thanks for looking into expediting the effort. But one of the frequent questions that we receive on the social media or through the emails that most of the time that lanes are being closed without any construction work going on, being idle. So do we have any insight on that?
Well, that is, there's a number of factors lead to that. And I have to agree with those kinds of comments that is the most frustrating aspect of a project for any user of the road, when they're being inconvenienced, but there's nothing going on, or at least nothing that they can see going on. So we're sensitive to that, and that we actually have clauses in the contract that require the contractor to take down traffic control when they're not actually using the road. So that can be enforced, but we have to be sensitive to certain realities. When certain work is going on and it has been delayed, you've potentially created an unsafe condition. So you can't just open up the road in an unsafe condition, which may include drop-offs at the edge of the road or other things like that. You also don't want to be having work stop and start and stop and start and constantly changing the traffic control. I think you noticed that maybe out on Bollinger here when it first went up. There was a lot of problems and a lot of complaints. People got used to it and the traffic flows very well. Once we change it again, there's going to be another upset. And when we change it back again, there'll be another upset. So we want to avoid that. But when circumstances arise, such as I was describing for the current work on the westbound, yes, we can force them to actually reopen the road. And that is one of the things we've been talking about with the contractor, is getting as much done as possible, and how we avoid potentially closing lanes again as we go into the winter, get some work done, create an unsafe condition, and then not be able to reopen it, even though we can't advance the project because of rain. So basically, it is a difficult situation, and we have to evaluate it based on where the contractor is at a given time.
Okay. So while we are doing that, is it possible for us to make sure that the traffic signals are working as expected? Because that can add much more problems than on top of the existing issue.
Indeed. And that is something we have been paying attention to. And there's been a subtle project going on that was not actually part of this project, where some additional controllers have been installed in those signals. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but over the last few weeks, the signals through there are behaving much better. I drive through that as much as I can, so does the project manager. And I've actually found it easier to go through there with the construction going on now than it has typically been in the past, because of those signals improvements. So the signal factor is an important one, and one that we pay attention to, and we can adjust the signals as appropriate as the traffic control changes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I was just wondering, so what are the anticipated, if there's closures in, say, both in Bollinger and Crow Canyon, right? What are the anticipated traffic delays expected both during peak and non-peak hours?
I don't have an exact number for you. We can try and generate a number that I can give you in terms of, we often talk about delays in terms of minutes of delays. And I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I can give it to you. But
You said earlier that you would anticipate not closing both at the same time.
in terms of, yes, if you look to the those future closures where we're actually closing the road, that will be a very different story. Yes, when that road is fully closed, when we're doing the overhead work for the construction here, I talked about the possibility of the 2024 pavement management. This Crow Canyon project should be done by then. And then we tentatively on the books have a 2024 pavement project that would interfere. And we'll just be scheduling those so they will not happen at the same time. So
Right. But there may be like a lane or something closed here and there.
Actually, I doubt it. I don't think we would want even a lane closed on Crow Canyon Road between Al Costa and 680 while we're doing the work on Bollinger.
Do you expect there to be even more traffic during the December 2023 is going to be the holiday season?
And that work will be, there will still be lanes open on Bollinger, so it won't be the full closure. But yes, that I'm sensitive that that could become a busy time. And that's where looking at the work and what can be completed during a winter schedule, we would anticipate that at that time, most of the eastbound work on Crow will be done. And the contractor will be looking at a switch over to the westbound direction.
Great. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions before we open public?
Oh, I can keep going.
Are we still going?
We shortchanged.
And I just wanted to bring up a couple of our other projects here, just as a reminder. PMP 2023 is yet to happen, and we've just issued the notice to proceed for that last week. You're not seeing any construction for that yet. So this map shows where those activities will take place, and also shown on this is the work that we're doing in conjunction with Alameda County. So this is a big area of a lot of impacts. Fortunately, the nature of this work is it is slurry and some rubberized cape. So the most impactful elements of that tend to happen in about one day, and then there's traffic restored to the road. The contractor has to do some things in advance and some things afterwards, but typical impact for a given resident is about a 24-hour period.
So that's, you indicate relatively fast moving. So you anticipate that all being completed before we have winter weather setting in?
Yeah, the contractor has to run all over the town between now and October. And they're getting off to a slow start, but at some point, the work simply will stop. They cannot do this work in the rain. And if they don't get it done, then it's going to be significant penalties to them.
I had one more question. So when you mentioned, kind of shifting to overtime, extended hours, 12-hour days, is this like rotating staff, or you're going to be asking the workers to work overtime up to 12 hours?
Yeah, the contractor staff will work 12-hour days, and they will manage their staff as they need to make sure that it's staffed during the work periods that they intend to work.
Are there any costs that will be kind of passed down?
Yes, we are paying a premium to get that work done, and we are incurring the costs for overtime.
Do you have a number that?
I believe that was there's been a couple of change orders. I think that was in the $35,000 range.
Okay, during that whole time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's only related to the sound wall.
The sound wall and the retaining walls.
And the retaining walls, right?
So again, it's just the impacts for the 2023 project. And again, I've already talked about this a couple of times, that because I had presented previously what our plan for PMP 2024 is. These are the lengths, the primary stretches of road, and that piece you see between Al Costa and 680 may not happen, or we may modify the scope or put other restrictions on what they can do and when they can do it. So again, some of the outreach efforts we're doing is updating residents through social media, city web pages as needed. And again, many of these projects have direct outreach from the contractor or the city, direct mailings or door hangers, updates to city council, city newsletter and articles, project signage. You may have seen that's one of the advantages of our work with Alameda County. They set up things for their closures that we're taking advantage of. So there's even project signage out on 680 and 580 for that work. And direct notifications will continue to the schools, transit, hospitals, fire district, etc. And I just wanted to thank you for funding all of these projects. Thank the public for putting up with our mess. I know it is aggravating. But this will pass, and we hope to build a better San Ramon through all of this effort. And I particularly wanted to thank all of our staff who are out there doing all of this work. This has been a tremendous effort from a large number of people getting this stuff designed. Our inspectors who are out there every day working with the contractors and with the public. Project managers who are dealing with all of these things, particular Teresa Peterson, who is our liaison with CCTA on the overcrossing, as well as dealing with the Crow Canyon Road widening. Shane and Gloria are dealing with $1 million worth of flood damage simultaneously with all of this that came upon us. Susie and Vince dealing with our PMP, which has got a lot of work, and trying to accelerate that work with Alameda County has been on and off trying to get that done, and now it's happening very quickly. And it's really been a full court press. But again, I think it will lead to major improvements. So again, thank you, and thank you to the public. Are there any other questions?
Any further questions before we open to public? Okay, no, hang on, Rob, we may have. Okay,
I just want to make sure I understood it correctly. The retaining wall is completely done now? Is that what you said?
No, the sound wall bracing is done. So there's a sound wall that is located fairly close to where we're having to put in retaining walls in order to widen the road into the embankment. We end up with retaining walls. Those retaining walls are close to the sound wall. The sound wall is in need of some repairs. So our specifications require the contractor to brace that sound wall. So while they're doing all of this work, we actually asked them to do some enhanced bracing, as we're calling it, because typical construction bracing, you take it down as soon as you're done. We actually wanted something that would stay in place and help stabilize those walls. That work is now done. Retaining wall work is still continuing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's open the public comment. Do we have any cards?
We do have 3 cards this evening. The first is Taiwan Country.
First of all, Mr. Bartlett, I want to thank you so much. Your expertise and experience and the way you just communicated with the citizens really put our mind at ease, particularly a lot of questions that I have had were answered, except I'm not understanding why that you are the one who is doing all this. Why is it that we're not seeing transportation doing more? For example, when the altercation of the lanes were first implemented, I didn't really see a lot of signage or warning. So therefore, a lot of people coming from Windermere going, at the speed of 45 have to all of a sudden stop and then wait for people who are not willing to yield. So I really feel that there needs to be a sign that says, yield to merging traffic. Because there is a modification in the traffic rule. It is up to the city, and I don't believe it is Mr. Bartlett's department who is in charge of that. Where is transportation department? I really feel they are very absent in this, which is really a shame because we have 2 events coming up in October, I believe, sometime late fall. We have a 40th light parade. You really don't want to invite people outside of our city all of a sudden now I'm familiar with what's going on, get into accident, get into mishaps, then it is our responsibility. Please make sure you're in charge of very clear signage as well as disclosing, like the one on Crow Canyon Road. Why is it Miss Council Member Viros's, question about what's going on? I mean, there should be a sign, a banner, maybe even that's, just put a banner there that says, sorry for the delay. We're dealing with, whatever infrastructure, whatever that just said. A banner. How much is a banner? Not much. Why aren't we doing that? Furthermore, Councilmember Rubio did mention Christmas holiday season is coming. I really hate to have our vulnerable group. Who are the vulnerable group? Our teenagers who are now becoming first-year drivers, student drivers. They're constantly on the road learning. And I really oppose to opening up the lanes, closing up the lanes, because driving is a kinetic activity. It goes through our muscles first, not our brain. So if you constantly change lanes, our students who are young, they're not able to get into the habit of knowing what to anticipate. So then when you have rainy season, when you have grade and wet, dark demarcation, you're asking for a bunch of parents to pay for accidents.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker, please.
I still have 6 seconds left. May I? So I really ask transportation to please step up, and also in our city phone line, please have a update line where people don't need to bother anyone on a weekly basis. We can call and just get update. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Mitchell Wright.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, I stand before you as a concerned and frustrated citizen to the beloved San Ramon. I just feel very compelled to express some disappointment with some things that are happening in our community, specifically the Crow Canyon project. First and foremost, let's talk about that widening of the Crow Canyon. The express time that it continues to take that we drive by, I drive by there 3, 4, 5 times a day. And I hear Mr. Bartlett say that we're continuing to progress. And I think even the council members asked questions around the maybe misleading guidance of, is the wall finished? Well, it's not finished. And I don't see people working out there. And it's very frustrating to hear that now we're authorizing overtime 12 hours a day for people when we don't even see people sitting out there working. We don't actually see workers completing the projects. It's just been a long time. Another frustration is the waste of some other resources. The fact that we put up streetlights 2, 3, 4 years ago on both sides of the street, knowing that we were going to do the widening of this street, to then tear them down, to then put other streetlights back up. I just feel that that's an incredible waste of our resources, my tax dollars, your tax dollars, and the time that it takes to do these projects. I also am very frustrated and was not going to speak about this, but now after hearing from Mr. Bartlett, what he calls the sound wall reinforcement, my kind of, as I said, driving up and down looking at this, it was damaged by the construction. It wasn't needing to be reinforced. There were not those huge cracks in there. I drove by there every day. Those cracks were there because when they actually excavated some of the ground, they excavated like 18 inches away from a 15, 20 foot tall rock wall. What did they expect to happen? But now we're going to pay time and a half to have these enhancements of a sound wall. I just don't think that's right. So I just feel like as a citizen, I need to stand up and say, I complained to myself, I complained to my wife about this, but I need to come here and complain to you guys. And hopefully that you guys see what we see as citizens, that this is not my dollars being used properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have other speakers?
We have one more, Karen Lee.
Hi, thank you. I'm here also to be redundant, but in regards to the Crow Canyon widening project, I am here because I'm very concerned. There is so much damage being done to the trees in front of Cobblestone condominium complex. The amount of digging, the amount of abuse to the ground and to the tree roots. We have asked I've asked our property manager, and I know the property manager has asked for the arbor report on those trees, and so far we have not been able to see that report. But we have several redwood trees that have been growing there since 1990, and they are all distressed. And so there is a very serious question as to what's going to happen. That is my first and foremost concern. The other thing is, knowing Bollinger, people going 60 miles an hour, 65 is common. On Crow Canyon Road, once you get to Barbados, if you're going eastbound, you come down a slope. Well, right there is a light, which is lovely, but that's where residents and visitors of Cobblestone come in and out and have to cross the traffic. If you're flying down that road, you may not have enough room to stop. So I really, really beg that we have a lower speed limit and it's enforced. You also have an elementary school across from Crow Canyon Road, and children go to that elementary school and will be crossing that road. So I really want you guys to seriously talk to whoever you need to talk to in whatever department you need to talk to. But when this does open, I don't want to be here after the fact and go, gosh, we just missed that opportunity and now somebody or somebody's child is dead. I don't want that. So I'm here to be proactive. The other thing is I heard that they are talking about buffered bike lanes. I certainly hope that's going to be true. So that's what my concern is. I am sharing the frustration. There are so many days that nobody is there working at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, any other speakers that you said?
That was the last speaker card. And we
Okay,
do
we'll
not
close the
have-
public comment. Robin, any comments?
No, any follow-up questions?
I would just say, just follow up on what they were saying, that if you need to get in touch with them, what you can do. I was a little concerned. I mean, the last speaker I'm hearing is part of it would be speed limits, and I just don't think there's anything we can do other than construction zone. You have to reduce the speed, but it's after the work's done was the comment. And
Correct. We do have a temporary construction speed limit that's in effect, but afterward it's subject to the rules established by the state.
I mean, I wish there was something we could do about it, because I think it's going to hit 60 miles an hour. Not you.
No. I'll just say, Robin, we get a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, conversation. We pass these on. I appreciate you and the staff being responsive to those concerns and inquiries. We don't always have the answers. I think that people want to hear. There's a lot of frustration for everybody. I do think authorizing the overtime was probably a prudent move to kind of expedite things along. And hopefully we can get some kind of additional lane temporarily, if nothing else, on the westbound side open up here soon. I do think it's a good point to take a look at those trees over in the Cobblestone area to see what potential impact there may be there, and see what the arborists might say about those and get some feedback on that. But appreciate the update. I appreciate the outreach and pushing information on social media and on our update our hot topics site on the webpage and things like that. So I think communicating with the public, especially when they're so concerned about these two projects in Bollinger and Crow Canyon going on simultaneously, I think communicating and pushing out the information is really important. So thank you.
Thank you.
And transportation is in your department. So I mean, there is the things that they were asking for, it's there already. It just, I mean, they're aware of what's going on.
Yeah, our traffic engineer reviews the traffic control plans. Traffic control plans are submitted by the contractor. It's their traffic control, but they are subject to our review.
I like the point. Tell them, hurry up before the rain comes.
So I just want to make sense. So thanks, Robin, for presentation. This is really much needed presentation that we needed, because especially we are getting, as Vice Mayor Armstrong mentioned, we are getting a lot of emails, calls, especially concerning about both roads getting worked at the same time. So let's make sure that we communicate. The communication is the key so that we can not let the rumors take over the reality. So there is a very good reason why we are doing this work. In end of the day, it's to make sure that our community get the relief from the whatever the traffic issues that we had, right? So that's the whole idea. So I hope our community look at the end goal, what we are trying to achieve, and also let's make sure, as especially about I'm really worried about that elementary school comment. Let's make sure we follow up on that one. So once again, thanks.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
if you receive any calls, particularly if there's somebody who is misinformed or needs some more detailed explanation, we are happy to do that. And we find that we may take half an hour talking to a resident, but when we have the opportunity to talk to them, they usually get a much higher level of understanding, and then that word gets passed along. So there's usually several other people asking questions that that information gets shared to. So please continue to forward them to us.
Thank you. Thanks for.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
And Sridhar just hit the in-game once, that Bollinger Canyon overpass. And we're gonna do another one, maybe not like it, but there'll be another one coming on Crow too. It's just, this is the world order now. You got to set up for bike traffic, pedestrian, and that road is. But I just passed it all on to Scott, so it's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Okay. Now can we get city manager comments? or-
No, 10.2.
10.2? Okay.
This
Oh,
guy.
Darren gets to speak? Okay, Darren. Okay.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. So this evening, I would like to present a brief overview of our fleet electrification study, zero emissions CIP 400008. Our fleet electrification timeline. In 2020, the state of California had Executive Order N7920, which the goal is to phase out sales of passenger cars and light duty trucks with internal combustion engines by 2035, as well as medium and heavy duty by 2045. Advanced clean fleet regulations also require, beginning January of 2024, that 50% of medium duty replacements be zero emissions, as well as 100% of those medium duty replacements be zero emissions by January of 2027. So we're up against some timelines. In 2022, we adopted our 5-year CIP program, which included CIP 400008 for this fleet electrification study. In January of 2023, staff requested an appropriation of funds from our vehicle and equipment replacement fund for this CIP in the amount of $200,000. In June of 2023, staff completed a request for qualifications that resulted in 11 consulting firms submitting statements of qualifications, which staff interviewed 4 of them. That brings us to tonight, where we recommend the award of contract to Frontier Energy, Inc. for those consultant services for the fleet electrification study. So why are we transitioning to a zero emissions? Well, in addition to the regulations and the clean fleet regulations, they start in 2024. So we anticipate 1 to 2 years for the study to be complete. We're already in line to make what whatever purchases we need to in the beginning of 2024 will be in line with those current regulations. Grant funding is available now, and we are definitely looking to maximize those opportunities. While maximizing grant funding options and addressing minimum state regulations at the same time, this also gives us a chance to engage with more ambitious targets within our climate action plan and sustainability plans. This electrification effort is very important. It's a good time for us to look at our fleet and right size where needed and where available. And with facility changes, we want to continue to identify required and potential upgrades to facilities either through grants or operational budgets. And then we have our capital vehicle and equipment replacement schedules and budgets. And while our vehicle and equipment fund 602 is currently very healthy, the current elevated costs of zero emission options are expected to remain high for the foreseeable future. And this study will help us navigate those costs. Some of the common barriers we intend to come up against, funding and financing. And again, while our replacement funds are healthy, there's several unknowns. Things like future vehicle equipment cost, availability, and future city finances. There's limited availability of suitable EVs for public works, police, fire, and life safety. Currently, we have 6 EUVs in our fleet. We have plans to purchase 2 more this fiscal year. And staff continues to look at all zero emission options for required replacements at this time.
Specifically, are you looking at hydrogen?
We are looking at zero emission. So yes, absolutely. Good. All options are on the table, not
Okay, so
just.
the zero emission, so this electrification study, does it limit it to electrification?
It
or
does
is
not. It is all encompassing. It
Good.
includes
Thank you.
everything. Yes.
So the consulting company will advise us whether we are going with this electric or whether we go with hydrogen.
Their proposal, and we'll get into their scope a little bit, is whatever options fit our operations.
Okay.
So we will look at anything and everything.
Okay.
I do want to throw in there, as PD will be a big part of this. But in public works, 60% of our current fleet is medium duty.
Okay.
PD is 97% light duty. So
But emergency response vehicles are excluded.
they're currently exempt, yes, sir. But with us in public services, public works being 60% medium duty, currently there is not a medium duty zero emission vehicle in production. So these are just additional barriers and items that we need to deal with as we move forward. Definitely utility bottlenecks, mainly PG&E. We're at the mercy of their timelines. We do have a good working relationship with them, but it's definitely something that we have to work through as well. Another issue that could come up is while incentives are available and they don't always align with city budget cycles and money being available at that time. So this study will allow us to kind of create a timeline with availability and try to align those things. And then operational requirements in city code or OES plans. Our staff provides a wide range of services from operational to safety. And we need to make sure that those services can always be provided safely, effectively, efficiently for both scheduled work and emergency situations. So those timelines for vehicle charging and timing and total miles that can be driven, these are all things that need to be worked through. And then obviously, this is a big change. And it's being done, but a lot of times there's information, and then when you look into that information, there's no options available. So it can be difficult and potentially costly. And we want to have as much comprehensive and real-time information available to us so that we can make those impactful decisions to our programs. And now we get to a smaller version of the scope of our study here. We will perform vehicle replacement analysis, operational consideration modeling. And then for charging, we'll do a capital expenditure analysis as well as an operational expenditure analysis so that we have multiple ranges for budget items. Total cost of ownership, resiliency strategy, excuse me. What is the current state of our program versus future state of program? And that can include emergency strategies like solar with battery backup or dedicated generator power backup, just different options that we'll be looking at. Some of the inputs and outputs that we're expecting, EV charger types, load management software options, availability, what replacement EVs or zero emission vehicles, equipment are out there for us, utility rates, fleet data. These are all things that we will be providing and also receiving information back. Outputs, charging strategy options, those capital expenditure and operational expenditures, which include hardware, materials, restoration, electricity, depreciation of vehicles, and maintenance and repair, and other items. So there's a lot to this study, and there's a lot of questions that we all know, and we're hoping to get answers to those. So our next steps, we will conduct this fleet electrification study. Again, it's estimated 12 to 24 months for completion. That will help us evaluate funding needs and supply us with a gap analysis while they provide research and aid in applying for grants, and will help us in securing grants that are available for infrastructure, equipment, and vehicles. We will obviously provide updates to Infrastructure and Finance Committee as well as City Council. We will continue to procure new vehicles according to our replacement policy and regulation requirements, while identifying and procuring, if possible, new vehicle charging stations at recommended sites. And that is it. So thank you all. And if you have
One of the interesting things, it's part of Valley Link. I don't know if you're familiar with Valley Link. It's the train that will go from Dublin out into the valley.
I've heard of it.
They're going with a hydrogen-based vehicle train, and they're going to create a hydrogen plant out near Tracy. And their hydrogen plant near Tracy, their design will far exceed their needs. And they're anticipating being able to sell the excess hydrogen to customers. Okay. And industrial customers or large customers will probably be of greater interest than small retail customers. And so I just invite you to make sure that this company, is it Frontier?
Yes, sir.
Looks into that program with Valley Link. I don't know what their schedule is for building that. I know Valley Link is
coming.
They've got millions already. And so it's for real. It's just, it's always going to be an extended
top priority along with Innovate 680.
Right.
FTC.
It's going to receive some federal monies that haven't been available up to now. And so with a hydrogen-based train and a hydrogen plant that will exceed their needs, there may be an opportunity for hydrogen-based vehicles in addition to or in place of some of the electric vehicles. I'm really concerned that in many, many ways, PG&E, while we have some pretty good relations with them, we've run into problems with construction of our housing development. They say, oh, it'll be 14 months before we can actually hook you up. Or the construction project that Robin was talking about, getting PG&E out there to, hook up lights or signals. trying to get electric charging stations installed and energized through PG&E has been problematic in some places. And so I just, I'm
And I think
concerned.
that's really why we're looking forward to completing this study, so we can be out in front of those things and start those timelines sooner than
There's-
later because of
Well,
possible
there's-
issues with that, if they're needed.
And unfortunately, this isn't our direct problem, but it's a much bigger problem, is the grid. The state grid is incapable of carrying the electric load that is anticipated in the next 5 years, with demands of additional electric vehicles, removing furnaces, gas furnaces to electric furnaces, gas water heaters to electric water heaters. The load demands on the grid, the transmission grid and the distribution grid are both exceeding PG&E's ability to distribute electricity. And that really concerns me.
Yeah, the city of Davis used the same consultant for a similar study, which I've gone through several times. And there's a lot of information and recommendations in there, even for solar and other options. So we're really looking forward to looking at things outside of, being reliant on PG&E for.
Yeah, and you mentioned
items.
specifically emergency activities. If for some reason we're in the middle of a brownout and the the earthquake happens and you can't charge your vehicles,
right?
How are we going to get around? There's big fuel tanks over at the gas station at the fire department, and the fire department has a generator to make sure you can still get fuel. So, but if you don't have any gas cars, that tank of gas doesn't do you any good.
Yes, sir.
And Clayton's working on a project with solar array that might be worth taking a look at too. We got to listen to that, but I can tell you County Connection is already making inroads with the Valley Link to use that excess hydrogen.
Okay.
Because we've got batteries sitting all over the maintenance yard over there. There's no secondary market for that stuff. You can't get rid of it, but that's all part of the study. So good luck, Darren.
So Darren, I think I heard you say that storage is also going to be a component of those study as well, because I
Yes,
think
sir.
that's really important for all the reasons Councilmember Perkins talked about, just for, the availability of electricity for off-peak or say there was an earthquake or an emergency situation, all those kind of reasons. I think storage is going to be a real key to this. And look forward to seeing what that study says about that as well.
Yes, sir.
So thanks, Darren, for presentation and sharing the scope, especially I like the scope of that work. So, and also thanks for sharing about Davis using the same organization. So are there any other cities using Frontier?
They had several references that all gave stellar reviews of their work. I believe the East Bay Energy Coalition was another big user. Thousands of vehicles were included and facilities as well for infrastructure. So we're excited to see what they're able to produce for us.
Okay. So after this study, are they going to help us with implementation, or is just pure
This
study?
is phase one.
Phase one,
So
okay.
once we receive the study and staff goes through it, we will eventually have a phase two that will be more implementation of items in the phase one of the study, and maybe additional research to be done. We'll see what we get back first.
And did they do any implementation so far, or?
Not to date, no, sir.
Not, okay. Okay, hopefully because once they do the study, then the key is study is one piece, then implementation is another piece. And then after that, we need to make sure we get performance metrics and all those numbers when we are
Correct.
flipping, right? So hopefully they can help us with that.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty excited, especially with this will help us with our climate action plan also. Thank you.
Darren, you mentioned that, 60% of the public works vehicles are medium duty, but this study is about the entire fleet that we have, right? This
It
is
is,
not just
so-
what is potentially an electric vehicle.
Right,
but
Public
it's-
Works, we have 102 vehicles, 60% of which are medium duty, 37 light duty, 3% heavy duty. PD is the reverse of that, about 97% light duty, and they have a few their Battle Cat and, a few of the heavy, they have two, I think a 1 ton and a 3/4 ton truck. And that's the extent of their medium to heavy duty. Everything else is patrol cars, detective car, it's all light duty stuff, motorcycles. All those items will be included within this study.
But some of the vehicles, like we got some electric vehicles now for our inspectors, right?
Yes, sir.
So are those kind of managed by Public Works also and just used by our inspectors?
Yeah, myself and staff manage all the 102 vehicles, and then there is a separate management for the PD vehicles.
Okay.
But we work together on, we share facilities for repairs and, body work and all these things. So we work together cohesively on all the vehicles, but they are separated at this time by management.
Yeah. And you said there are some available, there's some available grant funding now. We know the sourcing of that grant funding?
The
or-
sourcing isn't, there are available now that we do. I didn't bring that sheet with me, but there are resources available now. I'm not sure of the timing exactly yet. We've started working with the contractor with some information a little bit, but once we get under contract, then we'll really get going.
And on your last slide, you had next steps and things like that. Is it the contractor that's going to help us?
They are.
To write some of these grants? Or
They don't physically write them for you, but they provide references, outlines, key information that needs to be included, and they assist you with the writing of those grants. In their experience for acceptance, they can provide the information that wherever you're applying for the grant is the information they need and want to see.
Okay.
Yeah. So they will assist us in whatever way we need.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Mary.
I guess the last question I had, because this kind of overlaps to some of the things that we were talking about last time about why have a climate action committee or something like that in commission. Mark and I were talking about this actually when we met. So when the 200,000, that's a flat fee with unlimited hours?
No, that is a not to exceed 200,000. Their proposal was much less than that. So we'll see what the end cost ends up being. We may add additional services that we request for them to provide as we work through this, but it's a not to exceed 200,000.
So if you factor in that, we had a very, 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 and I'll make sure to emphasize that for our city manager, rough estimate that, if we had a climate action committee that would work with many various stakeholders in the various sectors that you happen to mention that intersect, maximum costing 20,000 in staff hours. This is 10% of what this 200,000 would be. Would that be, I'm wondering if that would be an asset to help on some end take that responsibility off, so we can invest those hours that we have that 200 to other things we may need them to do. In other words, it frees up some labor.
Right. I think all options, are available. So definitely a discussion that should and could be had for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right. Anything else?
Do we have any speaker cards? I'll open it up for public comment.
Taiwan's the country.
Mayor and council members, I wasn't planning on speaking on this item, but after I heard the presentation, I feel it is necessary. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Front Energy website is frontenergy.com. Am I correct?
We'll get you the answer. Keep going.
Okay. If this is them, I absolutely object to this resolution. Why? By looking at their address, P.O. Box 530293, Atlanta, Georgia. Why are we hiring someone out of state? Why is it that this company, which boasts 200 something employees, has a P.O. box? This reminds me of vanilla credit card that is everywhere as Safeway, CVS, Rite Aid. It's a bogus company. I learned the hard way. These people hire overseas employees. Why are we hiring foreign nationals to do a consulting digest for us when our very own has already done a very good job? He had already given you the pros and cons of going EV, and the only thing that our staff forgot or failed to update or to look into is how are the data going to be transmitted if we go EV, all this entire city, including PD. As a taxpayer who is extremely concerned about privacy, how are the PD's navigation data, even conversation? Some of the EVs can actually capture the sounds. So everything that the police officers are speaking in their cars are captured. Then where do these data go to? Are these cars going to be made in China? I mean, why are we having to do this right now? It's obviously the technology isn't mature yet. So you're already spending $200,000 good money using a CIP, which is not grant money. It is my tax dollars and all the revenues through taxes, sales taxes here that we can really use. Why are we wasting $200,000 when our own staff can look into further on what kind of vehicles, which there are very, very few right now per his own statement, that really are compatible with our needs? This is not something at this time I feel is wise to squander $200,000 on a consulting company that has a lot. It seems like there's a lot of foreign international employees that's going to evaluating something as sensitive as our PD cars. Definitely not. But I know you guys will vote yes anyways, because you guys ignore the public all the time. But that's definitely my comment. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
That was the only speaker card for
Okay,
the
we'll
item.
close the public comment. Thank you. I think you have to do the study. I mean, I'm sorry, it's the law. We're going to electrify or we're going to do renewable or whatever. Just my comments on it. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm grateful that the contract is not focused solely on electric, but
Yes.
on zero emission, because zero emission is a much broader category than electric by itself. And as Mayor Hudson pointed out, the bus provider now has a whole storage of batteries that they can't get rid of. There's no market for the used batteries. So that becomes a cost in the depreciation factor. And we can't ignore things like that. There is a lifetime for these vehicles. So thank you very much. And I
Trash
look
is
forward
going
to
the same way.
the input. And I'll move the resolution 2023-099. I got it.
You guys are quick. That Sridhar is fast.
Yeah, and then there's Marisol.
I get
Yeah. You're right. And hit the. blue
in the
button.
vote. Okay, it looks like it's unanimous.
No, oh, you gotta hit the blue button. There you go. Yeah. Whoops.
So Darren, go for it.
Returns your way somehow.
Somehow Sridhar went
You're
away.
away. Oh, no.
He moved it. He can't be away.
Well, no,
I moved
it came up as Perkins.
Oh, that's close.
Okay,
enough.
now
That's fine.
it's, the ladies fixed it. Thank you.
Now are you guys gonna let me call the city manager comment?
Yeah, yeah, we've been waiting all night for this.
Oh, boy, that's pressure there.
pressure.
So thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I do have a couple of updates. One is that we do have a volunteer opportunity opened here at City Hall in the city clerk's office. We're seeking docents to lead the third grade school tours through City Hall for this next year. The program includes a tour of City Hall and a scripted mock city council meeting. The docents help with wrangling the kids. You don't have to actually conduct the mock city council meeting, but it's very helpful to have that extra help when we're touring City Hall with the third graders. They're scheduled weekdays from 9:30 to 11 a.m. and docents do not need to be present for every meeting. So if you're interested, please visit the city website for additional information. Also, I wanted to mention that we have upcoming below market rate home ownership opportunities. 9 below market rate units will be available at City Village over there at BR6 by Summerhill Homes. They'll be released via a lottery. The deadline to enter the opportunity to be drawn in the lottery ends on Friday, October 27th at 5 p.m. The development is a collection of 136 three-level attached townhomes with 3 to 4 bedrooms. 9 of the units will be in the lottery and they'll be available for very low and moderate income household. We have House Keys that is managing that lottery process. And for more information, you can go to the front page of the city website under what's new if you want to learn about qualifying and also applying for the lottery. We will have, I believe, at least one more information session here at City Hall, and we'll be advertising that over social media and all the city channels.
And Stephen, as part of that, there is a prioritization process. As
Yes.
Part of the application. as well.
It's explained on the website. First responders and other certain criteria will be priority in that process. And then the final update, I just wanted to welcome back Christina Franco to the city council meeting and also thank Joan for holding down the ship so well. We have our wonder team is back, so everything feels right again. So not that anything was wrong, but we just are happy to have Christina back. Thank you.
Okay, city council, Scott, you want to tell us about your trip? No, go ahead. Axel.
Okay, I guess I'll start first. So I'm just gonna kind of give a really quick rundown because I know many of us have a lot to report. So we had our EDAC meeting on August 9th, which was nice to have and get to meet with the council and just talked about some general issues. It's been a while since we met. That was back in 8-9. Then we had the teen council meeting on August 15th. They had a workshop initially, and then we had a meeting where they kind of appointed all their different students that were participating to the various, like serving in their liaison capacities to our various committees and the city council as well. And then on the 14th, actually, I skipped a date there, August 14th, we had the grand opening and ribbon cutting open house of the Doherty Station Community Arts Center. And I was joined by all of you as well there. And let's see, on August 25th, I was joined by many of you also here at the San Ramon 40th Anniversary Gala, which was fantastic. I saw a lot of people having a lot of fun there. So thank you to all who made that possible. And also lastly, Mark, actually there's a couple of things. Mark and I did meet for our first initial meeting on August 28th to discuss as an climate action ad hoc council committee. And then on August 31st, went to 3 events, went to the Tri-Valley Mayor's Summit at noon, joined by many of you here again, and also went to celebrate and join Rosa Diaz at Watermark, who is celebrating her 103rd birthday. So it was really, really, really nice to be able to celebrate that day with her. It's amazing to see how well she looks. And then lastly, on that day, went to the Housing Advisory Committee. And as we were talking about some of these issues, you know, about making sure that it was like in order for people like extending their turnover to about 50 years instead of what we had before. So I think that covers everything for now. Thank you so much.
What else?
Sure.
Go ahead, Scott.
got to spend 2.5 weeks in Switzerland. I recommend it to all. Fabulous experience. It's an interesting country that has virtually zero homeless. In fact, over 2.5 weeks, I did not see one. And what they do, they have a program where they kind of nip it in the bud. If someone is about to become homeless, they have voucher programs to keep you from becoming homeless. And then they treat drug addiction as a medical problem, not a criminal problem. There's some fascinating ideas of how to manage their programs for citizens and all. But here we are. Had an Eagle Court of Honor. Thank you, Vice Mayor, for the presentations. We had 4 Eagle Scouts from our troop. I went to the MCE Board of Directors meeting in Concord. MCE is doing very, very well. They have a number of new programs. We are up to reserves of about 240 million. So it's very, very healthy, and they have 0 unfunded liabilities. San Ramon Valley Unified School District Liaison meeting. Staff was there to help out and make presentations from both the school district and the city about first day of school. They have a new program that they call it a Success Reimagined. As what does success mean? And it isn't just grades. Though grades are very, very important, and they're not losing focus on grades, but they have other programs that they call a part of Success Reimagined. We spoke about our construction projects around and how those were going fine. Tomorrow, I'm going to a LAFCO meeting in Martinez. We only have a couple things on the agenda, particularly related to LAFCO does annexations and dissolutions. One of the things on tonight's consent calendar was a LAFCO agenda item that will come to LAFCO in the future. And then tomorrow night I have a CCTA meeting, so that'll be kind of fun too. That's my report. Thank you.
Sridhar, Mark.
Okay, August 14th, attended Doughty Valley Station grand reopening along with all our fellow council members. Thanks to our Public Works and Parks Department. Awesome attention to detail. It looks beautiful, and community provided a very positive feedback. Thanks for all your good work. Then August 27th, attended San Ramon Football Club 50 years anniversary event. So took the opportunity to read our council proclamation, thanking their leadership, volunteers, players, and everyone of football community for their services for our youth development. And then August 25th, again, San Ramon 40 years anniversary gala. Thanks to our Parks and Community Services Department. Fantastic, one of the best event done by our city in years. So thanks for that. And then August 26th, I had opportunity to give graduation certificate to one of my intern from my office. I just want to give a shout out to Arya Mitra for graduation, learning about our city council and all the work that we do in the city. And then August 31st, attended Tri-Valley Mayor's Conference. Once again, Council Member Rubio, and which was led by our Mayor Hudson, very well led by our Mayor Hudson. Not surprisingly, it is all our Tri-Valley cities got the similar issues: transportation, housing. Those are the top topics. And then it is good to know that right now our Tri-Valley is known as a tech Mecca. So as myself in technology world, it makes me feel really good. And then, yeah, that's pretty much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar. Mark.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been since the
Second week of August.
second week of August that we had a city council meeting, but it was generally a quiet month, but there were still a lot of things going on. On the 9th of August, Mayor Hudson and I hosted Rajkumar. He's an 11-year-old from Coyote Creek Elementary School, and we had he was the winner of a fundraising event for Coyote Creek Elementary School. And he was the mayor for the day. And here at City Hall, we entertained some questions and answers, let him bang the gavel here up on the podium, and took him out to lunch, and then took him over, well, did a tour of City Hall, and then took him over to the police department for a tour over there. It was a lot of fun. I was also at the Doherty Station Community Arts Center reopening and the 40th anniversary gala, as mentioned, fantastic events. On the 7th of September, I attended the Leadership San Ramon Valley, the new class reception for the class of 2024. We've got several of our city employees who are in that class, and appreciate the city providing funding for them. It was good to see some old classmates in there. Also attended the Contra Costa Mayor's conference in Clayton, where Mayor Hudson serves as a chair there. And as Councilmember Perkins mentioned, the Eagle Scout Court of Honor this past Sunday. Always an honor to be able to present proclamations to those Eagle Scouts for a great achievement, achieving scouting's most highest and most coveted rank. Yesterday, I attended the Open Space Advisory Committee meeting. We got a briefing from Will Nelson. He's a planner with Contra Costa County. He gives an update on the Envision Contra Costa 2040 plan, which is essentially like our general plan. The committee also set some dates for the committee sponsored hikes and non-hikes for the upcoming year, and also discuss participation for providing an information table at the upcoming October Run for Education. I then attended the Senior Advisory Committee meeting. We got an update on some of the new 55 and older programs that have been started this year. Also, the committee decided on the next those to be recognized as part of the senior recognition program. They do this 3 times a year. The 2 recognized people were Mary Davis and Jackie Essie. They're from our senior foundation and instrumental in the bingo program there. And let's see, then we got some report outs from some of the committee members on visits to local San Ramon and other East Bay assisted living facilities and senior centers. Then we had the Finance Committee meeting yesterday as well. We reviewed a contract for a user fee study and overhead cost allocation analysis. I think that'll be a good move to do that study, regardless of whatever the outcome is. I think it'll be very informative for us, and it's probably overdue that we do that. And we also approved an updated purchasing policy, and that will add in requirements so that we comply with the federal code of federal regulations for any federal grant funds that we apply for example, FEMA funds for disasters and things like that. And then yesterday, I also attended the 9/11 ceremony in Danville at Oak Hill Park, as we remembered and honored those killed in 9/11 and the aftermath of 9/11, as well as honored those who were killed in the global war on terror. We had many of the Blue Star moms who were present who have lost their kids in those conflicts. And I had the opportunity to also mention when I got up to speak about Thomas E. Burnett Jr. He was on United Flight 93 and was one of the heroes that was able to tragically assist in bringing that plane down, so it avoided a crash into what they speculate might have been either the White House or the Capitol building. And it's also an opportunity to remember again in the global war on terror, our Lance Corporal Kyle Crowley of U.S. Marine Corps. He was killed in Iraq in 2004. So a really moving ceremony done well every year by the Exchange Club, and just honored to be able to participate in that and honor the memory of those lost on 9/11.
Yeah.
And Marisol was there as well.
Thank you.
Okay, I just, it has been a long time since August 14th, we did the opening of Doherty Station, and a long time since the last city council meeting, but I want to be clear that at that meeting, we adjourned it in honor of Dr. Karen Wilson. And then a few days later, we adjourned the mayor's conference meeting, I believe it was in Moraga, in honor of Dr. Karen Wilson, because Abram was the chair of the mayor's conference for a year as well. And then more recently, September 10th, my wife and I attended a Carnatic vocal concert for our neighbor, Satvika Sitaraman, who recently graduated from California High School, and she has studied for 12 years at the Rag Malika School of Music. And I'm really hoping that we can get her to perform here, because it was that just incredible talent. I mean, to me, it would be just perfect for Doherty Station. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit because she starts at Stanford in a week. But as a talented people just have a way of finding talented schools. But then again, Mark and I were at the mayor's conference in Clayton, and they seemed really impressed with their solar array, whatever they're doing there. If you need to see some information, I think we've looked at about as much as we can. But if we're going to follow up on the electric fleets, Scott's point of, you got to have the infrastructure for this. And I mean, everybody talks about grants until you go after them, and then you find out it's a little tougher than you thought. But it's been busy. I really thank all of you for staying on top of these liaison meetings. But that concludes my report for, oh, wait a minute. Another thing that I really look forward to, again, next year on August 19th, my wife and I had turned miles are married to Amhara at Doherty Valley High School, celebrating 76 years of India's independence. We had a lot of 3-year-olds up to 18-year-olds. It's some great entertainment on some Indian culture on stage. And thank you, Kathy, just a great performance. And I think everybody was happy with what they have out there. So I think you're going to be seeing them again. I told them get started on the 100-year anniversary. They're out of San Jose. I'm sure they're going to want to come back. Outside of that, if there's nothing more to add,
We open public comment?
yeah.
Okay.
With the public comment, do we want to speak cards for this?
We do have one, Taiwan's the country.
Good.
I apologize for having to speak so much, but I would like to remind the council members and mayor to please, if possible, make sure that the lottery have of the affordable housing, please give priorities to our first responders, teachers, and city employees. Those are the marketing pitch. You keep telling us that's why we're building more affordable housing. And I fail to see that you guys are conforming with what you guys told us. So by putting your words into action instead of giving us lip service, will really prove where your heart is. So please make sure, if possible, to allow the lottery priority to go to first responders, teachers, and city employees. I want to talk about the 40th gala. It was a wonderful time, and I want to appreciate these sponsors, because my money really cannot help the city sustain this activity without these sponsors. The Human Energy Company, Chevron, thank you so much. In good times and bad times, you have stayed a constant integrity, committed to communities. And I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Even though we beat you up, you still sponsor us. I'm so grateful. Bishop Ranch, Beverage Management Group, Mr. Don Kowalski, and our Chamber of Commerce, City Village by Summerhill Homes, ACI, at which the nature of the business, I wish I know, John Muir Health, San Ramon Regional Medical Center Partner, and Summit Financial Groups, Patelco Credit Union, as well as Kenyon Lakes Brewery. Why is it important for me to recognize these sponsors by letting them know that me as a taxpayer and the public appreciate them? Because those who care about our past will take care of our present and will refrain from corrupting our future. Thank you so much. I also want to talk about 911 celebration or memorial
This is a
service.
Public comment. Now, this is on our reports. Public comment will be open next.
Oh, did I say public comment? I'm so sorry,
Oh,
maybe I
sorry.
misled you. I want to respond to the 911 or the 9/11. I'm so sorry. 9/11 memorial service that took place this year was really disappointing. The county held several committee meetings that took away supervisors from joining the Clayton Memorial Service that I wish our city had also promoted with our citizens so we can join them there because it was an invitation by the firehouse. We shouldn't ignore the firefighters when we have a chance to be there. And whether we share happiness or just somberness, we need to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the public comment on reports and open up public comment. Now is the time for anyone to address the council on any, go ahead.
Was not spoken.
It has not spoken at the first round.
We don't have any requests for this item.
Okay, we'll close the public comment.
Mayor, if I could just
Go ahead.
make a comment, I want to address the comment on the 9/11 ceremony. But the one that was in Danville, and it's been San Ramon and Danville has been represented there, since for the last 20 years that they've done this. Chief Paige Meyer was there speaking. Denton Carlson, our police chief, was there. Chief Shields from Danville as well. The first responders were certainly recognized. There was a speaker from the FBI that talked about the investigation into the bombing in the 90s, as well as the World Trade Center attack with the planes. All the veterans service organizations for the whole East Bay were represented there. Blue Star Moms, Gold Star Moms. It was a very well attended ceremony that we will continue to participate in. And I'm not sure, I understand there was one that the county participated in up in Clayton, but I think we're going to continue to support. Danville lost a member on 9/11, a resident, and so did San Ramon. So we're going to continue to honor their memory at the All Wars Memorial there in Danville.
We also had our firefighters there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing more to add. Let's adjourn to the next council meeting, which will be held on September 26th.